Hi, I'm Pete Atherton, Community Expert at Apogo, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to create your own blended learning program. So we'll be talking about why you might want to create your own blended learning program, what is a blended learning program, what content you might want to put in, what platforms you might want to use, how to alternate between online and offline content, and how to assess. So firstly, what is a blended learning program? And I think the important thing to realise is that it's a combination, it's a blend of course, of online and offline content. But the important thing is that the content must be pedagogically valuable, which means that it must engage people and actually teach them something. Moving on to the platforms that you might want to use, well, they must be very accessible and easy to use, and accessibility is a very important theme that we'll be returning to. So you might want to use Blackboard, you might want to use Canvas, but whatever you use, make sure that the content on it, which we'll return to later, is not simply a repository for boring, non-engaging materials like PowerPoints, for example. Make sure that it's lots of content that's easy to embed. So for example, HTML files, you can import videos very easily and Padlet walls and things like that. So make sure that your platform makes that very easy to do. And of course, ensure that it's mobile first, that it's actually easy to use on a mobile phone or a tablet. Moving on to online and offline material. So make sure that you plan your blended learning course so that you can very easily alternate between online and offline activity. So just to develop that idea, make sure that your planning is joined up, it's coherent, it all sort of blends in. Make sure that you've got a combination of synchronous learning, that's in real time, and asynchronous learning, which is not in real time. And make sure that you plan it so that, well, what you're essentially doing is working backwards. You start with the end game, you start with the end points, you start with the objectives and the goals, and of course you reverse engineer. And that means that what you focus on is creating the correct learning environments for your learners. Moving on to assessment and the options that you might want to engage in. Think about the tools that you could use for assessment, but also be very sure about the online tools that you might want to deploy. So are you going to embed things like GoFormative and Padlet and so on? Make sure that the offline materials are rigorous too, and they're actually embedded into the planning too, so that you've got plenty of opportunities for offline feedback and for face-to-face interactions too, so that that feedback can be very meaningful. Going back to why you might want to create a blended learning program, well, be sure about your goals, be sure about your aims. Why do you want to do this? Why is it better than not doing it? Please make sure that you complement content rather than replacing existing content. And also make sure that it's actually democratized, that you're not alienating your students. In fact, at best, they can be part of the creation process. They'll be part of critiquing it. And that means that drafting it and reviewing it and critiquing it should be collaborative as best you possibly can. Moving on to content. One of the things that you might want to consider is creating your own video. There are plenty of tools out there that make this very easy. The likes of Screencastify, GoVidigo, and that might be a bit more relatable for your students when they see your face on the videos and they know it's you who's created them. And of course, make sure that there are opportunities for gamified learning as well, that you've got things like rewards, virtual rewards like trophies and badges and so on, but also real rewards that are embedded into the content too. And of course, don't forget levels of challenge, and make sure that you are providing adequate levels of scaffolding, but also there are many opportunities for stretching and challenging too. Thank you very much for listening. Now, to get more tips about how to get the best out of your early years of teaching, please browse through the videos below.